Hello everyone, my name is Ankur and welcome to RJPT Simlab simulation. In this video, we will study about the commonly used laboratory instruments. In this video, we will learn about the experimental pharmacology instruments that are used in the pharmacology labs. In this video, we will learn about the digital thermometer, Rot apparatus, Electroconvulsiometer, Analgesiometer, the Sherrington recording drum, the rotating drum, and the weighing machine. Now let's begin with this video. In this video, as we can see, we have these 7 different kinds of laboratory instruments that are used in the pharmacology labs. At first, we have the Actophotometer. At second, we have the Analgesiometer. At third, we have the Electroconvulsiometer. At fourth, we have the laboratory burner. At fifth, we have this elevated plus maze. At sixth, we have this rat's rods apparatus. And at the seventh, we have the weighing balance. Now let's start with the first instrument, which is the Actophotometer. The actophotometer is an instrument used to measure the activity and behavior of laboratory animals, particularly rodents, in response to pharmacological interventions to other stimuli. The description of this instrument says that the actophotometer quantifies locomotor activity in the animals by measuring their movement in an enclosed chamber. The statement says that this instrument measures the locomotor activity, or we can say the movement of the animals placed inside this enclosed chamber. Here we can see the enclosed chamber, which is covered with a lid. Here we placed our experimental animal. The purpose is assessing drugs' effect on activity levels and circadian rhythms. The statement says that with this instrument, we assess the drug's effects on the activity levels, which means it will affect the activity of the animal and it will also assess the circadian rhythms, which is the heart rate. And the application of this instrument is studying drug induced alterations in activity patterns. Now, let's move on to our second instrument, which is the analgesiometer. The analgesiometer demonstrates the analgesic effect of morphine and other centrally acting analgesics in mouse using tail flick method. The description of this instrument says that the tail flick test assesses pain sensitivity in animals by observing their response to heat applied to a small area of the tail. As we can see, this is our analgesiometer. On the right top, we have a cave-shaped mouse holder over which we place our rodent, and from this place the tail of the rodent is placed out. Here we can see we have these two heating rods which will be connected to the tail of the rodent. The purpose of this instrument is that an intense light beam or other heat source is focused on the tail and the time taken for the animal to flick its tail is measured. The statement says that an intense light beam or the heat source, for the heat source we have the heating rods, is focused on the tail which will be connected to the tail, and then the animal will flick its tail and the time taken to flick that tail is measured. The application of this instrument is to testing the effectiveness of analgesics by measuring pain threshold reduction. The statement says that with the help of this instrument, we will test the effectiveness of the analgesic drugs, which will be induced to the rodents, and then we will measure the pain threshold reduction in the laboratory animal. Now let's move on to our third instrument, which is the electroconvulsiometer. The electroconvulsiometer is used to study the anticonvulsant activity of phonation against maximum electroshock induced convulsions in rats. The description of this instrument says that the electroconvulsiometer induces controlled seizures in animals for studying anticonvulsant drugs. This statement says that this device is used to induce controlled seizures. This device induces the seizures in the animals, in the rodents, for studying anticonvulsant drugs effect. The purpose of this instrument is evaluating drugs' efficacy in preventing or reducing seizures. We use this instrument to induce convulsions after inducing the anticonvulsant drugs in the rodents, and then we study how effective our drug is, which prevents the or reduces the seizures. The application is testing anti-epileptic drugs. Means this device is majorly used for anti-epileptic drugs effectiveness testing. Now let's move on to our fourth instrument, which is our laboratory burner. The laboratory burner is used to generate flames and heat. This instrument is used very commonly. The description of this instrument is that a lab burner is a device used in laboratory to generate heat. It typically consists of a metal base with an adjustable flame produced by burning gas such as natural or propane or alcohol. The statement says that this device is used in laboratories to generate heat, and it typically contains of a metal base. As we can see, this blue colored is the metal base, and it contains the tip over which the flame is generated. And to generate the flame, we have to connect our burning gas connection, which will be of either natural gas or propane gas. This is the connection of the gas connection, and for alcohol can be also used. The purpose is the lab burners are essential for various applications, including sterilization, heat solution, and performing chemical reactions. The application of this instrument is that the lab burners are commonly used in chemistry labs, biology labs, and other scientific settings where controlled heating is necessary. Now let's move on to our fifth instrument, which is our plus maze instrument, which is also known as elevated plus maze. The elevated plus maze is that we can say that it is a model of anxiety that usually uses rodents as a screening test for anxiolytic or anxiogenic compounds. The description of this instrument says that the elevated plus maze EPM is a test used to measure anxiety in laboratory animals, particularly rodents. It consists of a plus shaped apparatus with two open arms and two closed arms. As we can see, the shape of this instrument is of plus and it contains two open arms. This is the black one is the two open arms and the brown one are the two closed arms. The purpose of this instrument is the researchers use this EPM to screen for potential anxiolytic, which is the anxiety reducing or anxiogenic anxiety inducing compounds. It helps to study the neurobiological anxiety mechanism. The application of this instrument is that assessing anxiety levels by observing the time spent in open arms, indicating reduced anxiety, or closed arms, indicating increased activity. This statement says that in this instrument, we observe the time spent by the rodents in the arms. Either it can be open arm or enclosed arm. If the time spent in the open arms is more, that it indicates the anxiety levels are reduced. Or if the time spent by the rodent in the closed arms are more, that it indicates the increased anxiety levels in the rodents. Now let's move on to our sixth instrument. The sixth instrument is the rat's rod apparatus. The rat's rod apparatus is used in the pharmacological studies to assess motor coordination, balance, and endurance in rodents. As we can see, we have our six-channel rat's rod apparatus. It contains of six partitions or six chambers. The description of this instrument says that the Rota-Rod apparatus consists of a rotating rod placed at a sufficient height. Animals, usually mice, are placed on the rod and their motors, coordination, and balance are assessed. This statement says that this apparatus consists of rotating rod. As we can see, this is the rod which rotates and as it is placed at a sufficient height. The animals are placed on the rod. The animals are placed in the rod. As we can see, it contains six sections. We can place the animal in any of the six sections, and then motor coordination and balance are assessed. The purpose of this instrument is that for studying drug effects on motor skills and muscle strength. This means we study of the drug's effect on the animal about their motor skills and the strength of the muscles. The application of this instrument is investigating muscle relaxants, muscle tonics, and fatigue inducing drugs. Now let's move on to our seventh instrument, which is the weighing balance. The weighing balance is an instrument which is used to measure the weight or the mass of the uh, object, or we can say we used animals to weigh. The description of this instrument says that a weighing machine, also known as a scale, is a device used to measure the weight or mass of an object. It typically consists of a platform or a pan where the object is placed and a mechanism such as a spring or load cells that translate the force exerted by the object's weight into a numerical value. This statement means this is the diagrammatical representation of the weighing machine. And it is also known as a scale, which measures the weight or mass of an object. It measures the weight or mass of an object, and it consists of a platform or pan. As we can say, this is the platform, or we can say it is a pan. It is in the shape of a pan, and over this the objects are placed. And behind this, there is a spring or load mechanism which translates the force exerted by the object weight into a numerical value. This is the display where the numerical value, the weight, is shown. The purpose of this instrument is weighing machines are essentially for various applications, including determining the weight of the ingredients in cooking, measuring body weight, assessing product quantities in industries, and conducting scientific experiments. This instrument is used in the laboratory level for measuring the weight of the ingredients used in the pharmacological experiments, the weight of the pharmacological animals, and the application of this instrument is weighing machines are commonly found in households, laboratories, factories, retail stores, and medical facilities. Now let us see some more instruments that are used in the pharmacology labs. We can see digital thermometer. It is a precise instrument used to measure temperature in various experimental settings. The usage is preparation to ensure the thermometer is clean and has functional batteries. Measurement is that the place the probe in a desired location inside the solution or the skin of the animal subject of which the temperature is to be measured. Reading. Wait for the digital display to stabilize and record the temperature. For maintenance, we have to clean the probe with alcohol wipes after each use and replace the batteries when the display dims or shows a low battery indicator. We have seen the rat's rod apparatus. We have seen the electroconvulsiometer, the analgesiometer. Now let's see the Sherrington recording drum. It is a rotating drum used to record physiological responses such as muscle contraction on a moving paper surface. The usage is that preparation attach the recording pen to the drum and connect it to the subject. Then start the drum rotation and observe the pen tracing the physiological response on the paper and then analyze the recorded data for research purposes. For maintenance, we have to ensure the drum rotates smoothly and the pen is functional, and then we have to replace the paper regularly and keep the drum clean. Now let's see the last instrument of this video, which is the rotating drum. This is similar to the Sherrington drum and also used for recording various physiological responses. And the usage is also similar, in which we connect the drum to the subject and ensure all the connections are secure. Then we start the drum and monitor the recording process. And then the data collection is done, in which we collect and analyze the recorded data. In this, we keep the drum and the recording mechanism clean, and any mechanical issue is checked and addressed them promptly. Now, we have completed our experiment. Thank you guys for watching this video, and for such more learning content, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us our LinkedIn profile on Instagram as well as in Facebook. We post weekly and update our videos over these platforms. Thank you.